Mazuma Boxing back with another video after this fight weekend. All right, guys, let's talk about something between Shawn Porter, somebody who just came off of a very close fight against Keith One-Time Thurman, and Andre Berto, who came off of a TK, avenging a loss actually, and it's a TKO stoppage from Victor Ortiz. Now, what has been going on lately is that, and shout out to Shawn Porter, he's constantly been in the media, and he's been calling out Keith Thurman for a rematch. But obviously, this isn't going to happen anytime soon because Keith Thurman had just did an interview with Fight Hype, and he says that Shawn Porter has to wait. He has other obligations to fill. Like I think he has that mandatory. He has to fight his mandatory. The guy David Evanesian, the guy who defeated Shane Mosley not too long ago. And then after that, he wants to pursue a unification bout with Danny Garcia. So that's pretty much a whole year right now because these PBC fighters only fight like 2-3 times a year. So that has to wait, and I doubt that Kenny Porter wants his son to just be sitting on the shelf waiting for that rematch because they already had waited long enough last time to fight Keith Thurman. So I don't think they want to go through that whole process again. But besides all of that, they had asked either Kenny. I think it's yeah, they asked, shout out the boxing scene. The interview guy asked Kenny about a potential fight with Andre Berto since Danny Garcia is rumored to be fighting John Molina Jr. and pretty much turned down the Andre Berto fight that was somebody who they had a strong feeling he was gonna fight at first, but somehow the fight didn't turn out that way. So they asked him, they said, "Hey, would you let your son fight Andre Berto?" And Kenny Porter being who he is, he says, we would take that fight. We would take a Danny Garcia fight. I think everybody knows we aren't ducking anybody. We just need a dance partner right now. So, I mean, that's a typical Kenny Porter response, and they back it up too, so shout out to them. They pretty much will fight anybody if they're a big name. And Andre Berto's a big name. I think he's a 2-time world champion. And that's something good to put on Shawn Porter's resume. Now, he goes on to say, we need somebody to step up and take the phone call. Take that fight. If Berto doesn't have a dance partner, we would gladly take that fight. Same with Keith Thurman. We want that rematch and we want those big fights. So, he's still worried about Keith Thurman or whatever, but he will gladly take that Andre Berto fight now. That's a pretty solid welterweight fight, and that's definitely needed in the welterweight division because these fucking champions aren't fighting each other. So, and a fight like Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter is really rare. Like, like that's probably one of the biggest fights since Mayweather Pac. That's probably the biggest welterweight fight since Mayweather Pacquiao that I could think of, and it definitely is. It definitely is. Now that I think about it, so big fights in the welterweight division don't happen that often. And I'm not saying that Andre Berto and Shawn Porter fight is a fucking huge fight because neither of them are champion. But as of right now, they aren't champion. But yeah, man. I mean, it's not like a colossal. It's not like fucking like this is a very lucrative fight. But this is a pretty solid fight that I wouldn't mind watching, especially since PBC is on free TV. They're both associated with Al Heyman, so this shouldn't be hard to make since they're both with the same advisor. And the only thing that would stop the only thing that would stop these guys from fighting each other is themselves. So and I doubt that this fight would take long to make because these guys are always in shape, and these guys don't really turn down fights. These guys will pretty much fight anybody. These guys lack fear, and that's really uncommon, especially in this era of boxing. Now, me personally, I would have to roll with Shawn Porter in this fight. I just think he's too aggressive, and that's gonna wear down on Andre Berto. We've seen aggressiveness go to Andre Berto's disadvantage. We saw that Robert Guerrero fight. Very real dirty tactics, real rugged things that Robert Guerrero was doing, but it worked, and it led to that Mayweather fight that he ended up having, defeating Andre Berto. So Shawn Porter is like that times 20. Like, this guy's gonna keep coming forward. He's relentless. The man doesn't get tired. And the only problem I would see Shawn Porter having is with Andre Berto's speed. Andre Berto and a little bit of his power. We know um, the guy cracks. You know what I'm saying? Berto has 31 wins with 24 knockouts. So 7 of his fighters have made it out of the ring uh, to a decision or whatever it is out of 31 opponents. So that's pretty impressive. So the guy has solid punching power. Maybe, but then again, we all know Keith Thurman hits harder than Berto. And although Porter was getting stunned, he continued to come forward. So I don't see Andre Berto's power being a problem, but I do see his speed being a problem in this fight for Shawn Porter. But other than that, I would have to give it a Shawn Porter all around. Too aggressive, physically the bigger guy, not taller, but probably like I'm talking at like physique and frame, definitely bigger than Andre Berto. And I just can't see Andre Berto winning this fight just based off of that. Now, although I do see like a clear winner in this fight. I could be wrong because anything could happen, but even though I see a clear winner in this fight, this is still a solid fight, and this is a fight that a lot of people would tune in to see, in my personal opinion. Now, y'all guys let me know what y'all think about this fight. This is Mazuma Boxing, and we out here.